What's up, guys, and welcome back to What's Up TV. We are here for All You Can Eat Warriors, and we have a very special guest, guys, a channel member and ever fan of the show. Everyone in the chat knows him very well. My man, Josh Hill. Welcome to What's Up TV, man. It's great to have you on. How you doing?
Yo, what is up? I'm doing good, Excited to be on.
Awesome, man. Thank you for jumping on. And as we always here at What's Up TV, we open to new people being on, and as always, as fans, we love having our members and others share their views, and it's a great opportunity to have you here, man, to share your views and spend the night with me, and for me especially, bro, for everyone in the chat to learn something new and some new thoughts and ideas. So thanks, man, for jumping on. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, bro, absolutely.
Welcome in, Jazz. Jazz, quite hungry there. Now, good on you, my man. Hopefully you get your feed on tonight here at All You Can Eat. Mr. Toilet Inspector, hope it's been going well. And Tans, great to see you, Tans, Jackson, and yeah, man, it's great to have everyone in. Yes, let's go, people. Look, man, we're going to start off, guys. It's rude to not have, to have a guest and not let him share his journey, his Warriors journey. So I was going to give some time to Josh to kind of share his background, how he's become a fan of the Warriors. So if you don't mind, Josh, can you just sort of share how you got into the Warriors, maybe how you got into rugby league, all of that, favorite players, all your kind of passion for the team. So yeah, take the floor, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, bro, absolutely. First of all, kia ora, everyone. I was born in the late 90s, so I can't be a day one fan, but day one of my life, I was, had the Warriors thrust upon me. Yeah, I don't know. All I've known since I've grown up is rugby league. So, every Saturday, Sunday, just locking into the TV at like 4 years old, watching, that 2003, 2004 team run about. And that was kind of, my first intro into that, and then playing rugby league as well. Outside of that, and playing for the mighty Glenora Bears. Yeah, bro. Played rugby league until I was maybe 9 or 10, and then jumped into rugby. But Warriors were always my favorite team, and I think growing up, my favorite players were Skinny Byrne, Todd Byrne. Loved Brent Tate, and then obviously when Sean came on, no one could really compare to good old SJ. But and then just growing up through high school, I felt like a Warriors defender. As we went through that rough teens, 2010s period, I was on social media every week defending the Warriors. And so it's been Warriors all my life, really.
Man, awesome, bro. It's great to hear that your journey, and like you say, if you haven't had to defend the Warriors before, you're not a true fan.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We've all had that thrust upon us, but it's it builds your strength and your identity,
Oh,
man. So
100%. And it makes years like 2023 so much better, eh?
oh, yeah. And let's hope that we get more of those 2023s because
Oh,
that's what we want as fans, bro. But absolutely, man. So yeah, everyone in the chat, man, welcome, and Josh, great to have everyone here. And yeah, we're gonna get into just some more, preseason talk. There's not much we can talk about, but we've had a few interviews, I suppose, from Webby, Fish. We even got to hear from Tana Boyd, which is cool. Aaron Clark. And people are starting to, the media cycle's starting to build a little bit. I just want to start with Webby's thoughts, and I thought they were quite insightful in a way without, revealing too much. I know he kind of played his cards close, but I just wanted to see what your thoughts were, bro, around Webby's. Did you gather anything new or anything insightful or anything that you confirmed for you from what Webby's interview on the One Take podcast?
yeah, man. What I loved was just how measured he was about everything. I think like he's really taken in what 2023 was and what 2024 was, and kind of like I loved the contrast that he was talking about how much time he had in 23 versus how much time he had in in 24 for
Yeah.
preseason, and just like deciding to not do the camps with running out of time and things like that. And it was just like it was so insightful to see kind of how preseason really does affect the team. And yeah, man, like I thought he was, he's always been measured to me. Always been someone that's real cool, and to see him sit down with Jacko and do that was like, I mean, it was real cool. It's real cool to see him kind of long form like that.
Yeah, no, it was really insightful way. In terms of just relaxed Webby, you could kind of feel last year like there's a bit of tension in terms of, it was a tough year, and I it's hard when your coach is always having to defend you, the playing group, the
Hmm.
performances, and but you can kind of sense that they've either taken what they learned from that and moved forward, which is what I enjoyed about his comments. And he left a lot to kind of, I suppose, to think about. What were your thoughts on the captaincy question? And that I suppose they're going to kind of reveal it closer towards the start of the season, but also it felt like it would be more of a logical choice. Would that lean towards, say, someone like a Barney or someone that's been involved in the club the last couple of years, or do you think that Fisher Harris has a chance of being a captain? What's your thoughts?
Or so I reckon it has to be by the first trial, I guess, right? Like that's kind of when we need to know, when everyone needs to know. I think it'll be Mitch. I think the Fisher Harris quotes, kind of confirmed that.
Yeah,
I think Mitch deserves it as well. I was all for them being, Barnett definitely deserves that, and he's been, I mean, he was so good for us last year, and when he did have to step in as captain, it was like nothing changed. He was exactly the same player, if not better. And so I think leading a pack like that really, it really brings more out of him, and ups his game as a player. So I'm excited if he gets named. And look, if it is co-captains, it's co-captains, but I don't think it can really be anyone else other than Mitch.
yep. Yeah, good to hear some different Jose in there saying Roger's name. Yep, that's a definitely a shout. But I agree with you. It feels like Mitch, and I kind of confirmed that myself personally watching JFH's press conference that he definitely is coming in as a kind of a new guy. He's
Mm.
kind of said that I'm learning the Warriors way, so which tells me he's kind of coming in, kind of observing, seeing how he fits in, and then maybe in the future he might be captain. But it sounded as though that he said one quote that yeah, I'm still learning the Warriors way, but I'm open to being a leader. So I found that, like, he's kind of saying I'm still involved, and Webby's alluded to that too in the interview, that he's a leader through example, which is awesome too. So it doesn't have to always be the verbal kind of with the captain, on his chest, so to say. But yeah, no,
Well, I think
yep.
that's the thing as well. Like with Roger, like with Roger's name being thrown around, he will always be a leader in the team. He'll always be someone that the boys will turn to, and he will lead with his actions. But you do need someone like Mitch to, actually be vocal with the boys and be loud and be vocal with the refs as well. And someone in the middle, I think, is real important. If we're doing what I hope we're doing this year and putting Roger out on the wing, it's going to be a bit tough for him to captain from the wing.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, he's still going to be a leader, much like Dell. Dallin will be a leader as well. These boys running out from the back, they will be leaders. But yeah, I think Mitch is the one.
Yep, I feel confident about that too. And the more I listened to what Webby was saying, it felt as though that it's going to be someone in-house, someone that's been with the team, and it seems like a logical choice. And I feel that is a logical choice. So, and I think we're all happy. Well, I'm happy with that, and so I think that's kind of settled. But talking about RTS, the question was asked where Roger was going to be played, and Webby's held to the fact that he's not going to reveal it. He's going to hold tight. So that only leaves us to speculate. But where do you have Roger currently? Do you think Webby will push him to the wing, or is there a chance that he may pop up in the number 1 jersey start of round 1?
Look, I reckon with Marcelo leaving, I reckon that kind of confirmed it for me. I can't see too many other people that will be like great for that left wing spot. And I mean, Roger's played wing before. I don't think his body would last at a full season of fullback anymore.
Yep.
Like when fullbacks get older, like, I mean, the exception is obviously James Tedesco, Billy Slater a little bit. I mean, Billy's body broke down so much, but
Yep.
These guys who had that craftiness. But I think with Rog, just having his runs out of the back will be super important and will be something that we do need. But I think that'll be from the left rather than from the back.
Yeah, it kind of speaks to that he can add value on the field. And I said last week that he's like new in-game fullback cover, and it leaves the 18th man spot with a bit of variety. We might not be put in situations where Adam Pompey's your 18th man anymore, a backline cover. It might be a one more like a CHD or someone of that ilk that can cover multiple positions. So in a little way, in a macro way, it kind of makes sense as well. But he can just be as valuable from that wing position. And there's still options that you could run plays for him through the middle. He can come in, work with Egan around the ruck. There's options. There's variety there. I know Webster, he's not afraid of little trick plays. We've seen that consistently throughout the last 2 years, that Webby will come up with a trick play or, a different inversion of something. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Roger could still be dominant in his own way out on the wing.
Well, yeah, I think that's a real key point, is that the game's evolving every year now. I mean, there's new structures and shapes that we're seeing that we haven't seen before, that teams are just carving up with. I mean, in 2023, our right side shape was, no one could stop it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so, I mean, what I see in Rog, yes, he'll be on the left wing and he'll be on the end of some of those shapes, but I do think also having him play a little bit like Tom Trebojevic did a few years ago in Origin, where he was coming through and chasing kicks through the middle, and things like that, or being able to roam through the middle a little bit like Joey Manu sometimes. Being able to get onto those shapes out to the right. I think that will be something that we will employ with Roger, and Roger will be able to take on real easily. I just think that center spot wasn't quite fitting him as much as it should have, and I think we'll find he almost opens up more on that wing.
Yeah, centre is such a tough position. It's a position you have to create with little momentum. We know Roger. A lot of his work is setting up the person from a fullback run, or and all that. He needs those 20 steps to make that one step stand out.
Yeah.
And it's like with centre, it's like it's so fickle in terms of your movements. The way you approach it. It's very and even it just requires a certain type of player to. And he, to be fair to him, he hasn't trained in that position. And even I know with rugby, it's totally different in terms of maybe how they use it and how they play it. So, yeah, I think it's the right call. And like you said, Montoya leaving makes sense that he'll go there. And I've advocated for that because I thought Montoya and Dallin to an extent are like kind of a straight up hit up type guys. Very direct. Use the upper body to kind of barge over. Whereas with Roger, you get game break ability. You get line breaks. And if we're starting to dominate, I can kind of see it if we're in a dominant position in terms of possession and yardage, and we start to fatigue the other team, you get these opportunities where line breaks can happen. Like there could be momentum around it, and I think he's a better probably momentum winger than say what Montoya is. He can get a set going. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Montoya wasn't like that, but I felt that Dallin, Roger can just get you a tackle break, and you've got an extra 10, 20 meters that you didn't have. That type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was real hard for him to do from centre.
Yes.
Like coming in on those, the third play out of the back. The defensive line is set by that point.
Yeah,
we want him on that first and second where they're either he's able to make that break and able to kind of cut up the defense on the chase, or as they're kind of setting their line for the first tackle, having him make those be dangerous around the ruck in that area. I think that's where he'll be important. And I also think we'll use him kind of almost that fourth tackle that AFB used to he used to do the first and the fourth. I think we might see Roger kind of darting around in around the ruck when the defense is tired. I don't think we'll see it obviously early game. But kind of towards the tiring periods of the game is where we'll see Rog kind of in and around that ruck in the middle of sets.
Because that leads to the point as well that Rog could take some of those carries off of C&K. C&K loves to go tackle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll jump on any tackle he's available, pretty much that guy. But let's be realistic, he will kind of fatigue, and he has fatigued, especially last year. If it is, we'll get into that argument as well about around fullback. But you're saying that what you're saying as well is that he could take that fourth tackle off of whoever. If we're lacking in that forward pack, we need another run. He can pick that up. C&K is a bit tired, or Tane, he can pick that work up as well because he's equipped for it. He's a fullback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I actually quite agree with it, and it makes sense. And I suppose that, we could see that from him. Hey, just quickly in it, Ash Thomas, apology guys for missing tonight's show. My little baby niece got me good. Yeah, the little kids, man. They get you. Yeah, I used to be a school teacher, so I know all about kids giving sickness and passing around. Yeah, yeah. No, much love, Ash, bro. Hope you're doing well, man. And we'll definitely be back. Anyway, so
I need the hair like Ash, and we won't notice a difference.
Ash is growing it out, man. It's looking like Metcalf, I swear. Just need a clean shave, and it's blooming Metcalf. Yep. No, great points, everyone. Let's just quickly touch on that. I've been an advocate. I did a little bit of content around Tane. An argument for Tane I came up with was that it's similar to how I suppose Stacey used Keanu and the Kiwis. You can kind of see. I mean, Keanu's I think a bit more athletic, a bit more faster, different styles. Still, I think Tane's quite varied in his skill set. He's got a good passing game, but you can see this. He's done it before, but. Do you think Tane could be the long term, or do you still feel C&K holds that spot? What's your thoughts on that one?
I've been a bit of a Tane champion. I reckon we just need to blood him. I think that my worry is if we don't blood him, he'll look for another opportunity somewhere else.
Yep.
Because he's electric, man. He's absolutely insane, and I think he will be our fullback of the future. In the next couple of years, I think he'll be someone that we'll be able to rely on for a long time. And it sucks because I love seeing K. I love what he does, especially on that shape around the back. He's just so sharp with it every time, and his first and fourth hit ups of the set. He's in there, he's going, and So I mean, look, I'm torn. I reckon, and the only thing that's making me lean back towards CNK is someone, I can't remember who it was, said we should have our most experienced team for Vegas, or try and get like a real experienced team over there. And so that's kind of the only thing pushing me to start with CNK as opposed to Tane.
Yeah. I think CNK has been written off. And 23 was so amazing. 24 short preseason, and I was even worried. He played Kiwis again this year. Kind of a revelation too. Played a little bit more halves, in center. So you can see Stacey was kind of playing around with things, and I wonder what Webby's got planned for him. But I think it'll be clear from round one the direction the club's going in. I'm supportive of both. I know people will say I'm sitting on the fence, but I can see the benefit of CNK and I can see the benefit of Tane. And it just depends on what direction we're going in, especially attack-wise, and we'll get to the halves eventually, but you do need that third or fourth option if we're struggling for points, if we're not. So it's kind of a tough one, but I'm advocating for Tane as well, bro. I think he's a talent.
Yeah, I mean, what we saw with CNK last year was when he had SJ, that's when he was most effective. And when it was with Tamaiti or, someone else in the halves, when, or even, CNK ended up in the halves sometimes, but, when Tamaiti was running the show, it was a little bit harder for him to get involved because that shape wasn't so structured. So I reckon there's kind of two trains of thought here. If we've gone with Tamaiti as the 7, I'm not sure we can have CNK as the fullback.
Yeah.
I reckon, but if we've got Tana, who I think will be, and again, we'll get into halves a bit later, but, if there's more structure on the field, that's where we'll get CNK kind of in there and in around there.
Yeah, that's a good argument. We'll go to the half soon, but good argument for Tana and the like. If it is more structured, it leans towards CNK. Probably, and even because if it goes to Mighty is very off the cuff or very, it can be quite loose and it can be effective because it definitely jumpstarted our season last year. But at the same time, Webby, I feel, is quite a structured coach. He even in his comments, he said we were close in these games, and if our structure was better, we would have won them. And I think that's where he's really bought into him. And sometimes I disagree with it, but he's bought into the fact that if we do our structure really well, we will be successful. And I majority agree with that. But sometimes you just need a bit of variety. You need game breakers. You need, like, Ali Leotoa is one that I can see becoming kind of a game break. You need someone that can break the mold to get get your team going. But it's a good discussion point. And they all again, it's another part of the field that it's like the halves. They all got something a little bit different.
Yeah,
but you gotta find what's best for the team. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think we'll come to see that. What direction we go, whether we're looking for that more explosiveness through Tane at the back and having more off the cuff and kind of from our fullback rather than from our halves, or if we'd rather have it from the halves.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see kind of where Webby will go. It sounds like he's already made the decision real early on,
yes,
which is good. and hopefully it sticks that way and stays that way, and we'll be able to really just really pour into that and give them that chance for as long as we can.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, and I think we'll move on to the halves now. And going back to Webby's comments, he was very big on what I said, and I was like, bro, great, we're in the same mindset. He said he's going to pick the halves early, and he's going to let them run with it. And he said that the other halves, whoever they are, will have to take it off them, which is great. I said, whoever you go with, I'm happy with. If you go with Boyd, Metcalf, and even though I've advocated for Tamaiti and done that whole thing, I'll support whatever Webby goes with, and I'll support the combination, and that they're giving the best chance. So, what were your thoughts specifically on the halves in Webby's discussion around it?
Yeah, man. First of all, I think like you said, the backup halves will have to take it off them. I think that's such a good idea. I think that's such a good way to run your halves, because it rewards performance as well as if you are someone that can't be said no to, like you physically can't say no to this person because of how well they've been training, how well they've been playing, then we have to find that spot for you. And if that's starting halves, that's starting halves. I'll tell you what I want the halves to be, and then what I think the halves will be. What I want the halves to be is Metcalf 7 and CHT 6. I'm a bit of a CHT fanboy. I reckon that kind of gives us the best the best solution moving forward as well, and moving into the future. But I reckon we'll see Tamaiti at 7 and Metcalf at 6. Just as long as Metcalf's in those halves anywhere, I reckon that'll be what carries us through the season. He's our future. I reckon. He's someone that we need to invest as much into, and if he wants it to be his team, I reckon we find a way to make that happen.
Yep. I want to just quickly go back to your point about CHT, because this is important, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on why you're advocating for CHT. We talked a bit previously, just like he's a player that's almost there, and if he does get there, he's going to be a star, or he's going to be a really solid player. What's your thoughts because you would like Metcalf and CHT? What do you see between the two of them, or what do you see CHT bringing to Metcalf and vice versa if it does happen that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so I'll start with Metcalf. I think Metcalf has the potential to turn into like a Mitch Moses or a Jerome Hughes. Someone that you see as a flashy, almost a momentum player. You get him going, and he's gone, but then can turn into this game directing half, someone who can lead the team around. And I reckon he has a great kicking game. I've seen that in Cup. I've seen it in the trials. And when Johnson hasn't kicked, Metcalf's looked great. And I reckon CHT brings a little bit of stability to the 6. And he knows his role. He knows how to play it. He knows where to go, and he can control his side really well.
Yeah.
So Metcalf can float in between, almost like SJ was doing, and then we can have CHT on one side, and then we can have say Tane running the other side, and then having Metcalf kind of sweep both ways and be that main playmaker. Because I do think that that Metcalf will be again our future, much like Tane. I think those two are going to take us real far. And so if we invest in them now, and invest in Luke at 7, Tane at 1, like all the other pieces will fit in. And I reckon that CHT is able to fit in better with Luke than the other two, especially if Luke is controlling the team.
Yeah. Okay. It's a great argument. And how old CHT? I think he's 25, isn't he? He's still young.
Yeah, I think
26 maybe.
Yeah, or 24, 25, something like that.
Yeah, and it goes to the point that when halves do get a little bit older, they can get a bit wiser. And we saw that with Sean and his progression. Well, Sean was a freak, but Sean, the game manager Sean, came in really strong in the back end of his career, specifically 2023. So, but I think the more years you play of NRL, the better and tighter your game gets. I agree. Even I've always been a big advocate for the left foot kick, gives you options to put pressure in parts of the field. So that's another one of his benefits. And he's got a good solid kicking game. I mean, Tamaiti leaned on CHD a lot to do the bulk of the kicking. So you could probably definitely argue that Tamaiti is not going to be a bulk kicker like what a Metcalf and the CHT could be. And so if you put those two together, Metcalf and CHT, you got ample kicking. So that's a good argument. Just want to quickly shout out Killer. Thank you for the $10, man. We appreciate you, man. Always great to have you back, Killer. And what is that artwork, man? It looks like an album cover or some type of crazy. Do you know much about what is that, man?
Trying to see what it is.
There's some crazy. It's like a horror film type. When you walk into the kids' room, sorry, and they've got those random paintings on. Killer, bro. I hope you're not doing anything dodgy, bro. I swear. If you do, but no, that's crazy, man. We love you, man. As always, great to have you back, bro. Welcome back to the season. But
Absolutely.
I
mean, we saw it as well, and I think it was the Broncos game last year with CHT. The way that Tamaiti was kind of controlling the middle, and we had CHT on the left, and the way he started that game and the way he worked in that game was like that left side attack. I haven't seen it so strong.
Yes,
and it was just he was just talking the entire time, shored up the defense as well, which I mean, that's been a little bit of an issue for us for a while in the halves, and so no matter who was kind of inside in that second row position, he was just able to shore up that defense, and teams didn't want to attack that way because of the hits he can put on and what he can do. And so I think it's been real good to see the progression he's had, and like you said, he's almost there. He's almost at that next step, and I reckon if we give him that chance and we give him say 10 weeks in the 6, say this is your jersey, obviously unless you get injured or something like that, he will earn it, and he will work it. And especially, I mean, if we have RTS on that side as well, on that left side, to be the spice, almost to be the little explosive bit. And the left foot kicking game, I mean, we haven't had that for how long?
Yep. And I mean, I've always, like you said, the best halves combos always have a left foot, like Luai, Munster, good. They use it to a good effect. I actually agree. Say if they went with a Metcalf and a Boyd initially, I reckon if they dropped those two, the reason would be defense. Majority leaking too many points, and that's where a big argument for CHT and Tamaiti have been, is that they're quite solid defensively. Not to say that Boyd and Metcalf, if they did get selected, couldn't defend. I'm just saying that if we did see them dropped throughout the year, it would be because of those areas. So it's a good point. Yeah. Defense is massive too. So defensive reads, defensive pressure, and body shape wise, we know CHT's solid up top, and he's always quite stiff. So you want to kind of see him. He's good when he takes the line on too, and he's got the confidence. I mean, those goal kicks last year would have just shot him to pieces, and we'll start fresh. He has to get that out of his brain, and I just love to see a confidence here. A confidence CHT is awesome to watch, like absolutely awesome. I've got a lot of respect for him when he's on his game. Just you want to see him maybe another year, bro. Maybe it's settling in.
Well, and that's I also reckon that's why it'll be good to have Luke and Tane, because they're both great goal kicking options. And so if it comes to CHT having to goal kick, like there's no expectation on him. We've lost 2 mainstream goal kickers, two of our primo goal kickers at this club. If we lose both of those in a game and CHD has to kick, well, there's not really much we can do about that. And I'm sure that he doesn't leave practice without hitting 50 I mean, I wouldn't after last season. I'd be out on that field.
Very absolutely, and it's something. Hopefully, there could be one of the learnings from the year last year. If I'm a head coach, I'm saying, hey, I got down to my fourth, fifth string. I need to be watching or making sure those guys are doing their reps. Like things like that. It might have been a little bit of a flaw in the game that they didn't realize that they had to go that far. And so, that's great discussion in preparation for next year. Get a lot of people in the chat supporting CHT, which is great, man. And I think he's got opportunity there for sure. So, yeah, you said Tamati and Luke. What's your thoughts behind that combo? Why do you think Webby will go with those two in particular?
I just think we didn't see it enough last year to warrant not having it. I think like Tamati was obviously our standout half last year. There's no doubt about that. And in any other team, in any other situation, he almost walks back in as the number 7 for the next year. And having Luke, I mean, again, we can't go without Luke. There's no way. There's no way we can rock up to round 1 in Vegas without Luke Metcalf in that team, unless he's unless there's something that we don't know. Luke needs to be in that squad, and so it's really who to pair him with. And I think just off the back of last year, it's Tamati and what he's been doing, and to me he gets round 1 crack.
Well, yeah, that's a big call. And just quickly changing tech to Tana Boyd, it's good to hear his view on his press conference. Seems a good guy. I mean, actually, I kind of got more endeared to him and giving him a shot. He's kind of come in with it. You can kind of tell he's kind of coming with a calm head. I suppose maybe a little bit of a setback for his career, but he understands it's a great opportunity. How do you see Tana going this year, and what's the next step for him in his career in your view?
I don't think this is a holiday for him. Obviously, he needed a lifeline, and I don't think he wanted to go up to England. I do think that what he will do this year is he will keep our halves honest, because he's been a great half. He's had glimpses of getting to that next level and being that game manager that the Titans need. I think with the Titans, they had too many playmakers to fit. It almost pushed Tana out, right? Having AJ Brimson, having Jay Campbell and Keanu Kinney, having those three in there, it kind of like forced the hand of Des up there to move 4 into the 7 and move one of those other boys to the 6. But I don't know. I reckon he'll keep us all honest, and if he does get that 7 spot, I reckon he'll take it and run with it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones again. If he starts even off in cup, and the others slip, he's right there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And vice versa. If he starts, he knows I need to hold on to this. So, and it's funny. He actually mentioned he had some great times at Mount Smart. He's talked about junior kangaroos. He killed it at Mount Smart. He killed us at Mount Smart. I was like, oh, that's a good omen. Hopefully,
well, yeah, he could be the new Mount Smart, the Prince of Penrose, the new one. The new one.
Cracker. But imagine that, that'd be crazy if you're the new Prince of Penrose. Oh man, it's crazy. I'm gonna wait for my man, the sign guy, to come up with something funny. But he's gonna be great.
My gosh. Honestly, it's almost a highlight of the games going down there and seeing what he wrote.
Yeah, man, hard up. So it's a good battle. We'll wait for. I love what Webby said again. I allude to the fact I've always said this: doesn't matter what combo it is, pick them early, let them, and let play it out, and let the other guys fight for it. So that's good. Once I heard Webby say that, I was like, sweet, we're on the same page. It's going to be a good start to the year, I think. And more importantly, it lets everyone else in the team settle, and lets Egan know who he's working with. It lets Tane or CNK, the outside backs, know who's operating as a 7, what the so the simpler it is before preseason, the better,
Yeah, and also like what those halves like to do, how they like to play, if they like to shift the ball early, if if they like to kick it into this certain corner at this point, and and move the ball here, and kind of one off the ruck, if they're ready to go to the tram lines and then come back across. Like those are the things you need to sort out really early in preseason. And as much as that can be a game plan thing, if a half doesn't like playing like that, then you're cooked. That the game plan and the half don't work, then you don't have a football team.
No, great point, man. Really good point. We'll just go back quickly to the center position. Just want to quickly hear your thoughts on your centers, and particularly left side. Are you happy with Rocco on the right side? Obviously,
absolutely. I think Rocco will kick on. I think he's almost at 50 games now. And
he
I
is.
Reckon, that's where at that 50 games, I think that's where centers are made. And so him and Dallin as well on that side, just both fantastic together, and I think they have a great combo, and I think we just need to keep that as it is.
Cool.
The left side, this is the big one. I mean, Adam Pompey was fantastic last year when he had to step in. I mean, it was what we're all thinking, Rog and Montoya out on that edge for the whole season, and then I think it was round 5 or 6 or something like that, and Adam was in the team and playing really well. And so I think Adam's going to be a bit like Tana Boyd for me this year. He's going to be putting that pressure on the centers. And I think what they need to do is they need to have almost a fire to Rocco Berry's water, like the yin to the yang, how Rocco is so straight, so narrow, runs hard lines. I think on the other side, we need to have that game breaker. And I mean, we saw it in round 27, or, the game at Sharp Park, round 26 with Ali Leatawa. I think he really needs to be our left side center. I think he really showed it last year. He's just he's gonna learn so much from having Rog outside him as well. And I think that they'll rock it out there, and I think we'll have a left side attack that will work. I think we've had some struggles out left for the most part when we focus so hard on the right. And I mean, the right worked, so why change it? But when you've got the right side having 60% of your tries and the middle having 20%, and you're left with a left edge that isn't really firing. And so when you can almost flip it on its head and still have that right side and still have that shape, but the left side have that really, really important, game breaking and getting through, I think that's it should adjust our attack, should change our attack, because Ali's one of those boys that, like the four forwards that are coming through as well, like they're just going to rock it, and it's our pathways coming through, which is something we haven't had for so long. And so as much as I reckon it should be on effort and on merit, what a way to start, like, kick the pathways off by having one of the best outside backs coming through we've seen in a while, solidify down that left spot and left center spot.
It actually would be. I wish all 5 of those guys a great year, and would do a lot to build the trust of the fans, but also reflect the development that's happened. It's been a tough COVID. We had nothing, and now we've kind of 3rd year into development at home, and we want to see a bit of those fruits. And I think we're going to see a bit of that. I think I'm in agreement with you, Ali and Rocco. It's kind of time for Ali to kind of be given the reins. Pomps, we love. We all respect Pomps. I've been he's always done his job, been professional. But you want to see, like, Ali kind of take a step forward, and what that potential looks like is exactly what happened at Shark Park.
Absolutely.
So I'll be careful of him. I know he's had a few niggles and injuries. Still a young body. He's still trying to find his feet. No doubt Pompey will be called up. I don't think it's. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think the young guns they get a lot of niggles early. Even like Dimitrik and Lekin, I'll be careful about them because they can still get quite young guys get can get those lingering injuries. But I think let them have the reins, bro. Like let them go.
Well, I think after Ali's first game, it was at the Raiders. It was Jared Croker's 300th. I mean, after that game, I was on the Ali train straight away. And then Team List came out the week after and he wasn't there. And it was like, what's going on? And then, he's injured for 6 weeks. He, tore his hamstring. And then you go, put him in the trials next year. Does another injury. And, we're missing him for a little while. And I think, we need to give him that time. We need to give him those reps in the starting team. And I mean, like Jackson Ford, wow. Like he said in the chat, like Pompey will get his chance.
He will.
Yeah, and like he'll be there.
Hey Phil, how you doing, my man? Good to see you, bro. Welcome back. Welcome in Ayers Night as well. I think it's a new name, and we welcome you, man. Great to have your comments in. I really appreciate everyone that's in the chat tonight. 43 of you guys. If we can just get you, if you haven't already, hit that like and that subscribe if you're new here. We really do appreciate you guys being with us tonight, and especially my man Josh, man. He's already fitting in. He's like the furniture, man. He's feeling part of Wise Up TV. We have to have him back.
We need some more first graders, I think, as well. At this rate, I think I'm starting. So
you're starting lock, bro. Like you asked for it, you got it, man.
Hey, that's all right. I'll take it.
Yeah, solid. Okay. We'll go a little bit off topic. Can I ask for a Super Bowl tip? Far out. I got a bit sick of the Chiefs, but my brother's an Eagles fan, so I can't. Yeah, I got to go Chiefs. My brother's an Eagles fan. I hate the Eagles, so.
I reckon the Chiefs will three-peat. Did you hear them saying no team has in professional sports has three-peated since the Lakers? Yeah. And I was like, we just had a four-peat. Like, excuse me.
It's disrespect, man. These Americans, they're so obnoxious.
America is the whole world to them.
Yeah. I is not fair enough, my man. Fly, just fly. Okay. We're both going Chiefs here, so however that helps you. Okay, man. Let's just move up the park a little bit. Wade Egan. I want to talk Wade Egan and Sam Healy with you. Interesting kind of dynamic here. And Egan kind of, this might be his 6th year here at the Warriors. Are we 6 or 7 years in with Egan? What's your summation?
Was it
2019? 2020 maybe, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I think it was 20. I think he came over for the start of COVID.
Yeah.
Like before the start of COVID, I think.
Yeah. And
so,
mate,
this will be 6 or 7.
Which is, he might be one of the longest serving ones coming through. And we know what he brings. I mean, 2023 was a massive year for him. I mean, the connection with him and Sean and even Tohu and those guys, you kind of feel working with a new set of halves, that connection is going to have to take a while. Then he's got the issue with concussions and injuries. Hasn't always been an 80-minute player. I think towards the back end of the season, Webby went with Lussick as a cover for him. So we went dual hooker. Where do you think, what's your thoughts around Egan? And do you think they'll go with a dual hooker rotation with a Lussick, or do you see a Sam Healy coming into the frame? What's your thoughts on and around the hooker space?
Yeah, well, so Egan's one of my favorite players. I remember when we first started watching him play for the Warriors, I used to get so frustrated because he would stand at dummy half with his hands on his thighs waiting. But once we got a good forward pack in front of him, you just saw him evolve into what he is now, right? And he was one of our most important pieces in 23. When we didn't have him in 24, we struggled quite a lot. And so I think I think he will start. There's no way. I don't think the Lussick experiment works. at 9, like starting at 9. Don't think that works. I think Egan needs to start. And I'm tossing and turning between having Healy at 17 or or like I don't think Lussick is in that 17. I think it's Healy or no 9 cover.
Wow.
And I love Lussick. Freddie's great. He's provided some great moments. That Mana wave will live in my head forever. But I think we signed Healy for a reason. And I know that Paulie Roach is gone now, and so we do have that spot in the cup team. But to me, you don't as Sam Healy, as promising as he is over at the Sharks, and as much, I mean, all the Sharks fans love him.
Yeah,
they loved him over there. So he doesn't leave unless there's something, there's something there. And to me, to come all the way over to New Zealand to play reserve grade again, that doesn't equate in my head. And I reckon there's a path of progression laid out for him. Whether that's halfway through the season, we start moving him into that 17, and start having him share minutes with Egan, and have him kind of half and half with the cup team and with with that 17. I think that's kind of how we'll use him. So it depends on Wade Egan, really, and I think we've always started the season with him playing 80. And I mean, Aaron Clark is there. As much as I don't think we should use him, like I didn't think we should have Jazz in around that spot either. Aaron's been a 9. He's like actually been a 9, and so to have that cover there kind of puts me at ease. And then if we have CHT on the bench, or in that 18, 17 kind of floating, I think that's who we'll see move into that 9 spot as well.
Yeah, great. This is interesting. Jack goes on the Warriors from, I imagine it's warriors.com. That's interesting. I haven't heard that they tried to shop Lussick. If that's potentially possible, because did Lussick did he re-sign? I thought no. I'm trying to figure out if he.
I think they've been adding a year every
year on. Yeah.
But he just
interesting.
He's fit. He's great. He
is.
But he just hasn't he hasn't kicked on. Like you need.
Yeah, I totally agree with the whole argument around Healy. Like you said, it's moving in a new direction. I'm looking forward to him. And the Sharks, most of the Sharks guys are big on him and angry that he's left, but he's behind a guy that just doesn't get injured, and he's playing well, old Brayley. And it kind of leads to, I think, Healy being kind of taking the top job at some point. But it all depends exactly on, like you said, on Egan playing 80. I mean, the older you get, you can have seasons where you can be consistent. You don't get injured and you stay on the field for 80 minutes every game. But from the past couple of years, it feels as though he quite can't. But I agree with you. There might be a succession plan or some type of, that Healy might come mid-season involved more often. So I kind of agree with that train of thought, actually, and can see it happening for sure. Okay, my man, let's just quickly move into. We got plenty more time to talk about the rest of the team. We're nearly on an hour anyway, and I just want to be respectful of the time frames, and I appreciate you jumping in with us. But just want to quickly change tack to Harold Metz and SG Ball. Look, we got a team list for the SG Ball. Guys, if you don't know already, SG Ball and Harold Metz start this weekend. I think both teams are playing at Manly. I'm going to be getting the streaming service, and so I'll be watching those games. We'll be giving reports on it, me and Ash. So, we'll be ready for some more development discussion. Big talks in the SG Ball around this kid, Kahu Kappa, from the Roosters. So he is playing listed at center. I think it's number 4. So I'm assuming could be right or left. Say could probably left at the moment. Do you know much about Kahu at all, man? Have you watched some of his journey or?
Nah, just well, I heard we got him back, which is good, and he's again is one of those players that like the team. I think it was the Roosters that had him for. They like all of those fans would. Well, there's not many of them, but they were sad to lose him, right? It's another case like the Sam Healy one where they're just they don't want to lose him. They don't want to be without Kahu Kappa because he was touted as coming through and taking that spot and making it his own. And so I think it's exciting to see.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, I to be honest, and everyone knows me, I haven't truly followed the development squads last year at least, but I'm all on board. A lot of names that we'll be getting to learn, but Kahu Kappa was one that stands out. And I think it is Augustino Filippo will be the captain, so he's playing in the 13. There'll be a few others here that we'll get to learn about. I know the Harold Mats team. I haven't seen their list yet, but they are playing, I think, on Saturday or Sunday. The same
just
day
before them, I think.
Yeah,
just before the SU Ball.
Yeah, so we will definitely be watching that. It's actually great, man. I saw the list. And the old school I used to teach at Te Whānau Tai, it's a small Māori Kuraupapa school, like 30 kids in the high school part of the school. One of the kids made it. Crazy.
Oh, man.
Tia. I didn't teach him, but I knew of him. So it's absolutely awesome to see the kids from Kuraupapa, where these aren't like your Hamilton boys or your St. Kent's or whatever. These are small schools, and we're recruiting from everywhere now, which is bro. Half the teams are from Christchurch, I think. So crazy.
Well, like I remember hearing about or watching a few interviews last year, and they're having split trainings. They're having the Christchurch training and the Auckland training, and then they'd fly the boys up on a Thursday, Friday, and have them all train together, which is so crazy that we ended up, being able to even the Harold Mats last year, be able to win that. It's crazy. Like I think that's such a testament to the talent that's coming through, and what we have and where we're going with that.
No, man, absolutely. So, guys, be ready for some of that content next week. Me and Ash will give some reviews on that. I know even Josh might try and jump in and watch some of it as well. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Just quickly, man, before we wrap up, the big question is, and it's we're only being theorizing, and we haven't even seen the team play. But how are you feeling about the season? Where do you see us kind of at the moment fitting and position-wise? What's your vibe about the season? You got a good feeling? Do you think we might bomb? Like
it's our year, mate. It's our year. Look, I think I'm a little bit like Ash. I was watching his stream last week on Wednesday, and he was talking about kind of having us in that 8 spot. And I think you guys were talking last week as well about the late 2000s teams that would go in and like that Michael Witt team that beat the Storm. Like I reckon we're on for something like that this year. I hope that we can crack even solidly in the 8, in that like 5 to 8 area. I don't think it's a top 4 year, although I was saying that before the 23 season as well. So you never know. But that's kind of where I see us sitting. I don't see us finishing lower than 10th, 11th. And I think if we finish around 10th, 11th as well, that'll be a disappointing year.
Absolutely. Especially with the additions of JFH and the young guys and potential. I think even, it's how we get our points this year is important for me. We need to get our points in early. I know it can be quite difficult, even coming from Vegas, but, getting your points, building your points up early in the year can do wonders for you in the back end of the year. When you don't get in these, you have to win games, and that pressure just piles on, and we saw that last year, especially we were chasing points. We were trying to stay ahead. So I'm a big advocate. Do your work early. Be consistent. We know the Warriors. It's not always going to be a consistent run. We'll have bad patches. We'll have up and downs, but you want to be more winning 2 or 3 games, losing 1 more often than not. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely in the 8 as well. Like 5 to 8 is great. It's a great season based off of who we lost, where we're going. So, but yeah, man, appreciate you, man, for coming through. This is the first of many, Josh. It's great you having you on. Look, time just flew by, man, and thank you for jumping on. Anyone, can you want to share any socials or anything you're up to that you might want to share that let people know what you do?
Oh no, I'm follow me for the rambles, eh? I'm King Hill on pretty much everything. So with 2 eyes in King. So especially on X, bro. Every Warriors game live tweeting. Why did they do this? Why did they do that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked those halves. Yeah.
you get CHT and Mick up, and you're like, what is this crap, man? Get rid of this. You go back on what you said. Hey, we'll have to clip this up to make sure we got receipts.
Yeah, I can't be too playing the field, Tana Boyd, great, yeah. I didn't say that.
Nah, hard up, my man. But bro, yeah, first of many, man. You're always welcome on. Jump on our post-match shows. We might even do another one, all you can eat. Feel welcome whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, man.
Just quickly, guys, we have started our WhatsApp group for the first graders. So all of our first grade members, if you haven't already, jump in. If you're into WhatsApp, join our group chat. The link should be on the community page for all of our first graders. So feel welcome to come and join us and chat on WhatsApp, man. But any last words, my man Josh, before we wrap it up?
I just want to tell the first graders as well to come lose to me at Supercoach. I'll have to grow out the hair to be like Ash for when I'm next back. So
hard out, bro. I mean, you two look alike. You guys just do a show together. I want to know who's playing. I want to know who's. I want to know. No, absolutely awesome, man. Okay, guys, thanks everyone in the chat. Please hit that like, subscribe. We've got more content coming up this weekend. But if you guys get a chance, watch the Harold Mets and the SG Ball. But yeah, while things are kind of still building up, we'll take our time. But anyway, guys, stay safe. Up the wires as always. I'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
Peace.